If you think the local grocery store shelves will always look this full, you haven't been paying attention to the fragile strings holding our modern world together. Most people walking through those sliding doors are 3 meals away from total desperation, completely unaware that 7 vital staples are about to vanish. I'm not here to scare you with empty theories, but to show you exactly what is slipping through our fingers as we speak. In the next few minutes, I will reveal the specific items you need to secure before the sun sets on this week's supply chain. This is the information the big retailers won't tell you until the out-of-stock signs are already taped to the glass doors. You clicked this video because you feel it in your gut, that nagging sense that the system we rely on is far more vulnerable than they want us to admit. My name is James, and I've spent my life studying the skills our great-grandparents used to survive long before the just-in-time delivery model existed. Back then, survival wasn't a hobby. It was a daily reality that required foresight, grit, and a deep understanding of the land and its cycles. Today, we've traded that ancestral wisdom for convenience, leaving us exposed to every glitch in the digital and logistical grid that feeds our nation. We are going to reclaim that power today by identifying the 7 critical foods that are currently at the highest risk of disappearing. Before we dive into the list, I want to invite you to join our community of self-reliant Americans by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell right now. We share these insights not just to prepare, but to ensure that the heritage of American independence stays alive in a world that's quickly forgetting how to provide for itself. Knowledge is the ultimate insurance policy, and by staying connected here, you're making sure your family stays ahead of the curve while others are left scrambling. Please keep in mind that while the data I share is grounded in current events, this content is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Now, let's look at the first item on our list that is currently sitting on a razor's edge. To understand why these specific foods are disappearing, we have to look at the intersection of extreme weather, rising fertilizer costs, and a crumbling infrastructure. Take our grain reserves, for example. They are currently at levels we haven't seen in decades, yet the demand for bread and cereal continues to climb. We live in a world where a single port strike or a localized drought can trigger a domino effect that empties shelves 1,000 miles away. Most people believe the system has a backup plan, but the truth is that the backup plan is simply you being left to fend for yourself. This isn't a maybe scenario. This is a mathematical certainty that is playing out across the American heartland right now. The conflict arises when your need for nutrition hits the brick wall of a stalled supply chain, creating a tension that most modern families are completely unprepared to handle. Imagine waking up to find that the basic building blocks of your diet, things like shelf-stable proteins and specific oils, are suddenly priced out of reach or gone entirely. The panic you see in the news isn't the start. It's the end of a long process of erosion that started months ago behind the scenes. This creates a dangerous dependency where your family's well-being is tied to a digital ledger and a truck driver's schedule. If that truck doesn't arrive, the supermarket isn't a store anymore. It's just a large empty building with no solutions. The transformation begins when you stop being a consumer and start being a producer and a curator of your own destiny, just like those who built this country. The solution is divided into 3 parts: identification of high-risk goods, strategic stockpiling of nutrient-dense alternatives, and mastering the lost preservation techniques of the 19th century. By shifting your focus toward foods that offer the highest caloric density and longest shelf life, you effectively opt out of the chaos that follows a supply shock. It's about building a buffer that buys you time, the most precious commodity in any crisis, allowing you to stay calm while the rest of the world loses its head. As we look closer at these 7 items, you'll realize that the real danger isn't just the lack of food, but the lack of stored knowledge on how to handle a world without refrigeration. We've become so accustomed to the hum of the fridge that we've forgotten how our ancestors kept meat, dairy, and vegetables fresh for years without a single watt of electricity. It makes you wonder, if the grid went dark tonight, would your pantry be a treasure chest or a ticking clock of spoilage? This brings us to a critical realization. Having the food is only half the battle. Knowing how to keep it is what truly ensures your family's survival through the winter. This is the exact moment where most people realize they need more than just a few extra cans of beans. They need a blueprint for a life of total food independence. This is why I always keep my copies of the most essential survival guides close at hand, especially the ones that document the forgotten miracles of the U.S. Army's food research. When you have access to the same secrets that kept soldiers fed in the most brutal conditions on Earth, the fear of a grocery store shortage simply evaporates. It's the difference between being a victim of the times and being a master of your environment, providing a sense of peace that no bank account can ever truly replicate. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the 7 specific foods that are currently under threat to the harsh reality of our modern, fragile supply chains. The core message remains the same. The convenience of the present is a mask for the vulnerability of the future, and only those who prepare today will thrive tomorrow. Remember, our ancestors didn't survive the Great Depression or the frontiers by luck. They survived because they respected the uncertainty of life and built their homes on the foundation of self-sufficiency. By securing these items now and learning the skills to maintain them, you are honoring that legacy and protecting your family's future. By now, you should have a clear roadmap of what to buy today, and, more importantly, why the old ways of food storage are becoming the most modern survival tools we have. You've learned how to identify the cracks in the system, how to prioritize your purchases, and why the just-in-time model is a trap for the unprepared. This clarity is your greatest weapon, moving you from a state of hidden anxiety to a position of informed action and true household security. You aren't just buying food, you are buying insurance, independence, and the confidence that your table will remain full no matter what happens in the world. To truly master these skills and gain access to the full list of 126 superfoods that can stay fresh for years without a single drop of electricity, you need to read The Lost Superfoods, The Forgotten Food Miracle of the U.S. Army. This guide is the definitive collection of American survival wisdom, containing the exact methods used to sustain people through the darkest chapters of our history. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment to get your copy now and start building a pantry that is truly invincible. Don't wait for the shelves to be empty to wish you had this knowledge. Take the step toward total food security today, while the choice is still yours. The window of opportunity is closing faster than most people care to admit, but you have the advantage of foresight and the will to act. Take what you've learned here, head to the store, and then get to work on securing the knowledge that will keep your family fed for a lifetime. The history of the United States is a history of people who refuse to be victims of their circumstances, and today, you are continuing that proud tradition of self-reliance. Stay sharp, stay prepared, and remember that a full pantry is a quiet mind. I'm James, and I'll see you in the next one. Stand tall and keep your powder dry.